from each other. While Equius is shown to be humorless and unwilling to change his perspective or stances on things, Horace has adopted a more carefree, optimistic attitude thanks to his new moire allegiance with Mulin Leon. That's probably not healthy, Horace. Maybe get a second opinion on that? Also, while Equius speaks little in the comic, Horace won't stop talking, to the point where he can't even let his mate Sprit say anything. Can't even hear Rufio when he tries to break up with him. That sweat troll. Lastly, Horace's name was shown misspelled by Hussey during Part 3 of Openbound. Not that I can be critical about it, I misspell things all the time. Like a few minutes earlier when I was trying to write sarcophagus, Sarcophagus! Why didn't I see that sooner? It makes sense now why Equius was... Kurlos was named by forum goer Dragoshi originally as a suggestion for Kurlos' ancestor, Gamzee. Many people think that Kurlos' name sounds similar to coulrophobia, the fear of clowns, and the Chinese word for skeletons, kulo, but that seems like a stretch to me. But considering that the only alternative for his name is that it sounds like Carlos and he looks like he's dressed up for Dia de los Muertos, it's whatever. Sorry if I seem a bit short, Kurlos just creeps me out. I mean, he's the only one of the trolls to have a talk sprite that isn't at a 3/4 angle. He's just staring at you, dead on. Like he's aware you're playing this Openbound section and knows you're gonna follow him into some dark catacombs. Kurlos stitched his mouth shut after screaming so loud in his sleep that he made his then mate Sprit Mulin deaf. And many suspect that Kurlos was more consciously responsible for Matuna Captor's mental overexertion. Coincidentally, Kurlos, Mulin, and Matuna make up the majority of the trolls who were not healed of their disabilities or injuries when they died. Many Homestucks see these three as references to Japan's Sanzaru, aka the Three Wise Monkeys, where there are three monkeys depicted covering their eyes, ears, and mouth, and are associated with the proverb, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. The exact origins of the monkeys are a subject of debate, as is the meaning. Buddhists say it's about how one should not dwell on evil thoughts, but most people in Western civilization see the proverb as an excuse to not be morally responsible for the evil actions of another, because you purposefully ignore it, pretend not to see it, or don't speak about it. Something the trolls in the dream bubbles are apt to do when it comes to Kurlos and the High Blood cult. The proverb also has connections as a code of silence for gangs, something the three are complacent in, even though most are ignorant to this fact. However, another thing connected to the wise monkeys is that occasionally you see depictions showing 4 monkeys instead of 3. The fourth monkey is depicted in one of 2 ways, either with hands covering its genitals or covering its nose, respectively called Do No Evil and Smell No Evil. This could be connected to Cancri Vantas, a proud celibate, or Latula Pyrope, Matuna's mate Sprit, and suspiciously, the only other troll who is not healed of her disability upon reaching the dream bubbles. Unlike Mulin and Matuna, due to his connection to Lord English, Kurlos does not appear in the ghost army of Soundpage Collide. He doesn't even appear in the pixelated crowd before Collide, and we had Arania and Damara ghosts in there. Where the Arania and Damara ghosts disappeared to will have to remain unsolved. Cronus' name was suggested by Toby Radiation Fox, originally for his ancestor Eridan Ampera. In Greek mythology, Cronus, sometimes called Kronos, was the leader of the Titans, the children of the primordial creation deities Uranus and Gaia. Cronus was the Titan of the harvest, and was given a sickle or scythe by his loving mother to castrate and murder his father. What is it with the old pagan gods and castration? Cronus took over the world, married his sister Rhea, and everything was cool for a while. But then Cronus remembered that his mother and father said that he would get overthrown by his own children. So, whenever Rhea had a baby, Cronus did the sensible thing and ate it. This certainly colors Orphaner Dulscar in a new light. Come to think of it, aren't all food products on Alternia grub-based? Rhea, being the Titaness of motherhood, did not like this, and after the 5th time this happened, she was pretty miffed. So when she gave birth to her 6th child, Zeus, she hid the baby, wrapped a rock in swaddling clothes, and let Cronus eat the rock. Zeus would later grow up, save his siblings from his dad's stomach, and after the family teamed up and killed their dad, Zeus would become the ruler of the Greek pantheon. The Cronus of myth was seen as a monster by the Greeks, but the Romans thought he was cool, and later merged Cronus with their god Saturn. The planet Saturn is associated with the Aquarius sign, thus the violet blood troll was named. Personality-wise, Homestuck's Cronus is a parody of hipsters and boys who suffer from the dreaded nice guy syndrome. You know, when a guy acts nice for an expected reward and not because it's, basic human decency, aka a creep. Cronus keeps keeping with the theme of the Dancestors being over-exaggerated caricatures of the original 12 trolls, is also seen as a parody of Eridan, specifically as he's seen from the Eridan hater side of the fanbase, as Cronus is shown to fake emotional distress, doesn't take no for an answer, is incredibly mean to the handicapped Matuna, and is desperate enough that he'll ask out his own Dancester. Heck, he'll even go out with Hussy, despite both of them thinking Cronus is the worst character in the comic. Heck, the closest thing to a good friend Cronus has is Matuna. In terms of his design, Cronus is based on American greaser teenagers from the 1950s. In the context of the comic, this is largely due to Cronus, after observing the Earth Kids and seeing an opportunity for attention, deciding that he is humankin, hence his white symbol shirt. A lot of the Dancestors were influenced by human culture, but they never fully grasped what they were referencing, like Mulin and the phrase, gay babies, and Cronus and his cigarettes. The Bard of Hope refuses to light the cigarettes hanging out of his mouth, saying that it would be a waste. However, this is possibly a reference to the book The Fault in Our Stars, as one of the main characters, Augustus Waters, has a habit of putting cigarettes in his mouth and refusing to light them, as a grand metaphor. A grand metaphor that author John Green says is ultimately wrong, but yeah, terminally ill teenager, let's let him have this. Lastly, one of the major aspects about Cronus are his ties with the Hope player prophecy that spanned several game sessions, saying that a Hope player would be the one to ultimately defeat Lord English. The prophecy included many Harry Potter references, like you do, but in Cronus's recap, Urania takes time to mention that Cronus became disillusioned to his destiny, and, fitting for his bard class, allowed that hope to be destroyed. I'm unsure why he suffered this crisis of faith. Aside from the obvious reasons having to do with an overall lack of character or any other redeeming qualities, perhaps someone talked him out of his beliefs, maybe a friend close to him, or if one is to believe his fantasy held any water, perhaps one who was in league with the evil magician. Mina's name was suggested by Blueberry, originally for the fish princess herself, Pfeffery. The name derives from the Hindi name of the zodiac sign of Pisces, Mina. Mina's name can also be seen in two other forms of Indian culture. One is from mythology in the goddess Parvati, specifically in the form of Meenakshi, the fish-eyed goddess, the divine ruler of the city of Madurai, tying in with her royalty status. The second is the Meena, the name for the tribal caste in northern India, who, in the past, were known as a war-hungry, bandit-like people, but in more recent history have shown to have better rights for women than other Hindi castes as of right now. I mean, widow remarriage, am I right? Pretty cool. Mina's name could also possibly be a reference to an ancient Near Eastern unit of currency called the Mina, perfect for that treasure-loving heiress. It's thanks to Mina that we even had Homestuck storyline to begin with. She was the heiress of Bephoros, who ran away to the moon and discovered the Spur beta game waiting for her there. She manipulated her friends into playing it with her and decided to spur her team to success by actively attempting to destroy all their teamwork efforts. These attempts ultimately backfired when Damara went on a rampage and fatally wounded Mina. Mina, with Arania's help, went god tier soon after. The session dragged on for sweeps and eventually became unwinnable, causing the trolls to hit that scratch reset button. Mina took the chance to explode everyone first, stealing their lives away, so that the group could continue in the dream bubbles as ghosts, though Mina took a few eons to rejoin the others for some reason. I can't really think of anything else to say about Mina fridge fact-wise. Hussey did say that Mina, being arguably the best dancester of the bunch, is due to him throwing Pisces peeps and Pfeffery fans a bone, since the fish princess did next to nothing in the story and then died. Something tells me that the Pfeffery episode might be shorter than usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the final episode for the Dancestors. I hope you enjoyed. and had a great summer. Is there a fact that I missed? Do you have a suggestion for an episode? Leave it down in the comments below and it might end up on the show someday. Like a few of the trolls before him, no one can say for certain who Horace Zahak was named by. It was possibly suggested by MS Paint Adventure fan Varin, originally for Equius. Hardy har on the pun. What? I'm not gonna say it out loud. YouTube is always listening. However, Horus sounds identical to Horus, the falcon-headed god from Egyptian mythology. Horus was a god of many things, but he was most well known for being the god of the skies and of the family line of the pharaohs, a literal god of kingship. Might explain why the Zahaks are so wrapped up with their place in the hemospectrum. When simplified, the origin myth for the god Horus is akin to the Lion King, aka evil uncle kills father and now Horus must reclaim the throne and everything the light touches is his kingdom, yada yada. But according to some versions of the myth, Horus wasn't born from the most natural circumstances. You see, Horus's dad, Osiris,